All right, folks, good morning. Let's get started. So, for today, February 21st, Wednesday, we are looking at the following economic data. At 8 a.m. Eastern, we had the FOMC member Bostic speaking, which I don't know if that's over yet, but they started speaking 47 minutes ago. Not expecting any major impact from that. So far, we don't see any major impact. Then we have at 1 p.m., FOMC member Bauman speaking. At 2 p.m. Eastern, we have the FOMC minutes, which is the most important report of the day, and also possibly this week. So that will be at 2 o'clock Eastern. So we need to make sure that we're watching for that since a high impact is expected. All right. So that's all the news we have for today that we have to look out for. Let's go ahead and take a look at the NASDAQ and see what it looks like now as well as what it looked like yesterday. So firstly, yesterday the NASDAQ was bearish. We opened higher and closed lower. The first part of the session was strongly bearish, relatively speaking, but then after that, the market neutralized and now has been going sideways. As far as the pre-market is concerned, the NASDAQ looks like it's going to open lower. We are currently gapped lower from yesterday's close to where we are now. Having said that, taking a look at the stocks which were moving yesterday, we have the following. First up, we have United Airlines UAL, which one of the members discovered during this very, very strong move here. The stock was able to reach our second target of 42.95 and then peak later on at a high of 43.72. After that, we had Coinbase, which was bearish, able to reach target number 2 to the downside of 167.53 before reaching a low of 163.39. The stock was down nearly 10% at the time it hit that low, which means it was down quite a bit. Next up, we have AMD, which was able to trade down to target number 2 to the downside of 164.41. There was major support sitting at 160. The stock did not reach it. It traded down to a low of 162, but that was well below our target number 2 to the downside. Next up, we have PENN, P-E-N-N, which was very bearish, clearly able to reach target number 2 to the downside of 17.47 a share, and then continued lower after that. We also had, let's see here, we also had Tesla. Now, Tesla was able to reach our target number 1 to the downside of 192.36. It then got more than 3/4 of the way to target number 2 to the downside, but never reached it. It bottomed out at 189.13, which was about 60 cents shy of target number 2 to the downside. There were other stocks that were moving as well downwards. Riot was able to reach target number 1 to the downside of 15.68. Marvel was also, MRVL was also able to reach target number 1 to the downside of 64.06. And INTC actually hit target number 1 to the upside, then reversed and hit target number 1 to the downside. So a lot of volatility there. All right, so let's look at what's moving pre-market. Here's what we have so far. We have BREA, which is currently up 15.25% on 1.1 million shares. trading above $1 per share, so we'll go ahead and add that to our pre-market radar for stocks. Again, symbol is BREA. Next up, we have CNEY, presently up 21% on 12.2 million shares. It's trading above $1 per share. We'll add that to our radar as well. All right, next up we have EFOI, which is up 36.43% on 4.6 million shares and is trading above $1 per share. So we'll add that to our pre-market radar, EFOI. Next up we have LUNR, which was actually pretty strong yesterday. That currently is up 20% roughly, 3.7 million shares. It's at least $1 per share. We will add that to our pre-market radar as well. Next up we have Mara, which is currently down 6.57% on 2.2 million shares. It is at least $1 per share, so we'll add that to our pre-market radar, MARA. Next up we have OCGN, which is presently up 7.69%, 2.5 million shares. It is at least $1 per share. We can add that to our pre-market radar, OCGN. Up next, we've got SEED, SEED, presently up 52% on 5.9 million shares. It's at least $1 per share, of course, so we'll add that to our pre-market stocks radar as well. Next up, we have SOGP, presently trading up 80.53% on 9.5 million shares. It's at least $1 per share. So we'll add SOGP to the pre-market radar for stocks as well. And then finally, we have VCIG, presently up 16.96% on 7.1 million shares. It's at least $1 per share. So we will add that to the pre-market radar for stocks as well. Now, if you folks see any other stocks that meet our 4 criteria, let me know in the chat. The 4 criteria, as a reminder, are number 1, it must be a NASDAQ listed stock. Number 2, it must presently in the pre-market be trading at least $1 per share or higher, ideally higher. Next up, it has to have at least a 6% price change. That could be positive or negative, but it needs to be 6% above or below where it was at yesterday's close. And lastly, it currently must have achieved in the pre-market at least 1 million shares of volume. All right. So I'm going to post these here. And the ones we found so far. And PANW, Palo Alto, let's see. Yep. Wow. That's a big hit. Jeez. Palo Alto. Wow. I'm assuming that was earnings. Yep. All right, so stock's down nearly 25% on 1.2 million shares. It is, of course, way above $1 per share, and it's NASDAQ listed. So we will add Palo Alto to our pre-market radar. Yeah, that's a really, really, really big hit for a blue chip. All right, so that's been added to our list as well. If you see any other stocks besides that one, guys, let me know. Again, we have just added PANW to the list that I just posted above. BREA, CNEY, EFOI, LUNR, MARA, OCGN, SEED, SEED, SOGP, VCIG, and PANW. Okay. So if you folks see any other stocks that meet our 4 criteria like these stocks do, let me know in the chat. Again, must be at least $1 per share in the pre-market here. It must be a NASDAQ listed stock that is pre-market trading at least 1 million shares and at least a 6% price change, which could be positive or negative. So if you see any other stocks, Holo, let's see. Yep, it's currently up 21%. 1.6 million shares. It's at least $1. Yep, we can add HOLO to the pre-market radar. Yep. All right, folks. Any other stocks? We'll give it another 30 seconds here. If you see any other stocks to meet those 4 criteria, other than the ones we've already identified, of course, let me know in the chat, and then we'll take a look. All right, we'll wrap up for today. Folks, please be sure to like this video and also subscribe to the channel. Please make sure you hit the like button. Greatly helps us with the YouTube algorithm. And also subscribe to the channel so that way you can get our notifications anytime that we publish a video, etc. If anyone's watching this video as a replay, since we do record it, please be sure to check out fundertrading.com, our website. You will see a link in the description of this video. Other than that, for everyone who's part of the program, I'll see you in the coaching room in about 28 minutes. Then we'll go ahead and pick up from there. Other than that, folks, have a great trading session. See you for tomorrow's Premarket Pulse. Take care.